CCJ holds court in Guyana. New hospital for Portugal, and new oil law will allow royalties to be deferred. I'm Rico Balford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see what's happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. The Caribbean Court of Justice is hosting in-person hearings in Ghana for the first time since the onset of the Rona. CCJ President Justice Adrian Saunders promised to ramp up public education on the functions of the court and engage with key stakeholders. The itinerant sitting of the court in Ghana is noteworthy, as Ghana was the first nation to accept the CCJ as its apex court, and the Caribbean community commemorates its 50th anniversary this year, with its headquarters, of course, in Georgetown, Guyana. The Chancellor and Chief Justice of Guyana both acknowledged the importance of the CCJ to Guyana, and with many cases of national importance making their way to the court in recent years. Guyana's recent election to the United Nations Security Council for the 2024 to 2025 period is seen as a helpful addition to the nation's efforts to protect ourselves from Venezuela's territorial advances. The election would position Guyana to counter any move by Venezuela at that level, although it is unlikely that the Security Council will place this issue on its agenda while the matter is still in court. Ghana's growing prominence, nonetheless, as an oil producer is obviously enabling us to play a more leading role in regional and global affairs. Residents of Annandale on the East Coast will soon receive improved access to water with the construction of a $130 million well in the community, and another $130 million was budgeted in this year's national budget for a new well in La Bonne Intention, also on the East Coast. The government has allocated $830 million to commence construction of the new Portugal Regional Hospital in Region 7, and $1 billion to retrofit and upgrade health centers across the nation. The Health Minister, Dr. Frank Anthony, also disclosed that construction is underway on 6 regional hospitals and several training programs for healthcare professionals are being rolled out. This year, the government has allocated $84.9 billion to further advance the healthcare sector in Guyana. Now, in crime news, 61-year-old boat captain Carl Subrati is missing after transporting passengers to an interior location. Despite dropping off the passengers and leaving to return home, he has not been heard from ever since. An investigation has been launched, and his daughter is appealing for anyone with information to come forward. 38-year-old Joel DePeza was arrested on Sunday for the illegal possession of narcotics, but he was also charged with a series of offenses, the majority of which stemmed from his alleged misbehavior while being taken into custody. DePeza pleaded guilty to the possession of narcotics and was sentenced to 8 hours of community service. The 4 other charges were disorderly behavior, threatening language, assaulting a peace officer, and resisting arrest. DePeza denied the allegations and was released on $40,000 bail for each of those 4 charges. He will be back in court on August the 21st.
Attention truck owners. Between potholes, bad drivers, and high fuel prices, you've got 99 problems to deal with. But with Powered Automotive, your engine ain't one. That's because they stock high-quality parts and spares you need at prices you can't beat. Visit them at Lot 491 EE Eccles, or call or WhatsApp them at telephone number 6970171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana.
Tired of waiting on hold, tracking down a delivery driver, or carrying cash for your food orders? GT Eat is here to make your life easier. Guyana's first cashless food ordering and delivery app. Choose from Georgetown's top restaurants, pay securely with your card, and get your food delivered right to your doorstep. With the convenience of being able to order from your phone and the added feature of tracking your order, GT Eats is the ultimate solution for all your food needs. Download the app on Apple and Android stores and start ordering the easy way today.
57-year-old Sherman Joseph has been charged with setting fire to his neighbor's home. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. According to the police, the incident occurred on June 9th at Cobaremo Hill in the Northwest District, Region 1. Mail in Cordova a Venezuelan woman who is jailed for operating a brothel, is facing 9 charges for trafficking Venezuelan females to Guyana. Cordova is currently serving 6 months imprisonment for operating a brothel. Now for news in the diaspora. Riaz Khan, a Guyanese national living in the US illegally, pleaded guilty to murder and attempted rape in the heinous attack of a 92-year-old woman in Queens, New York in January 2020. He was sentenced to 22 years to life in prison for murder and 8 years for the attempted assault. The case brought attention to New York City's policies after ICE officials said Khan should have been deported months before the attack. Now for today's oil update. ExxonMobil Guyana confirmed that its asset base as of December 2022 stood at 2.3 trillion Ghana dollars, or almost 11 billion US dollars. In comparison, their asset base is almost 4 times the total assets held by our nation's central bank, which according to a June 2023 Gazette stands at approximately 606 billion Ghana dollars, or approximately 2.9 billion US. And finally, Guyana will allow oil companies operating in the new 14 oil blocks on auction to defer or make part payments of the 10% royalty owed to us, according to the new Draft Petroleum Exploration and Production Act. In addition, it is still unclear whether the new act will apply to the Stabroek Block operated by Exxon and its partners. The stabilization clause in the Stabroek Block PSA contains oppressive provisions that could require Guyana to exempt ExxonMobil and its partners from new laws if their financial bottom lines are affected in any way, shape, or form. The draft legislation will replace the 37-year-old law governing Guyana's petroleum sector, and a 2-week consultation period is currently underway for the new act. The proposed law also includes penalties for those who fail to pay royalties owed on time, and the consultation period for said bill will end on the 3rd of July 2023.
Robbery season might be over, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home or business with Sheriff Security. Sheriff Security has well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. They speed even our drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest, now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today.
Now for our Uncut News Views Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel if this was. Last night I asked, what's a problem in your community that you feel is not being looked after?
But before we get to that, I'm proud to announce our latest addition to the Noble Army, Richard Singh, who is supporting us at the reporter level, the highest level of monthly support we've received so far. So thank you, Richard Singh. And also, a special thank you to David Griffith, Dion Nascimento, Project Zero, and Dimitri V. I appreciate you all. And if you're watching at home and you'd like to support our movement, just hit the link in the video description.
Mark Watson says, garbage burning and dumping. The village office has a deaf ear and blind eyes to this two matters. The biggest of this situation in my area is that the king chairman for this area does nothing and allows his untouchable council members to do whatever they want. It's sad to say, Mark, but it sounds like that's a situation I hear repeated over and over throughout our nation. Now for tonight's question. With all these new laws coming through for consultation, I want to know, do you believe that 2 weeks is long enough to have public consultation for said laws, or should it be longer? And if so, how long would you suggest? I want you to think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Nico Wolford saying good night, folks.